Hello everyone and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Tuesday, August 8th, 2017. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
Please remember, everyone, that you can catch our show live on Facebook Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Alaska time. That's 7 p.m. on the West Coast and 10 p.m. on the East Coast. In addition, you can help support the production of this podcast by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet. Nathan, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, I guess. I mean, I feel like I need a vacation, but I mean, I really technically don't, so.
Dude, everyone needs a vacation.
I hate the stigma that if you go on vacations, you're a shitty fucking employee.
Is that a stigma in your office, or are you just talking about, like, in general?
In general. Because,
Oh,
like,
okay.
I mean, in Japan, they don't leave until their boss leaves, and sometimes bosses will leave at, like, midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So people are there for hours. They die because of being overworked.
Well,
But, of course, they also work, like, 12 hours a day.
Yeah, well, and also on top of that, though, they also, like, are allowed to take naps and shit, so.
Right.
But I mean, in that same level, though, yeah.
I mean, they kind of have to.
Oh yeah, sure, in some ways. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really feel like it's more on your office on how vacations are viewed, because like in my office, they expect you to take vacation, especially because of the work that we do and stuff like that. So,
right, and I mean, same here. Like, we have mandatory vacation leave, but I end up using that for sick leave a lot of the time, anyways, because I'm me.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't
mean,
know. I'm just really fucking tired, and not just on like a tired level. I'm like, I want to be done.
Well, keep an eye on your accrued leave, and then put in for some vacation.
Yeah.
Because like I have none now, literally zero. after my vacation that I just took to Vegas, but
I'm pretty sure I have no leave, and on top of that, tomorrow I'm only getting a 15-minute break.
why?
Because on Monday I was late by 45 minutes because one of my electrical sockets blew out and my phone died during the night.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's real unfortunate.
Yeah.
So you're taking a shorter lunch? Is that how that's working?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm taking a 15-minute break.
Good luck with that. I'm not sure if that's legal or not, but good luck with that.
It kind of isn't, whatever.
Potato. Mm-hmm. I actually realized I changed things in the middle of like making the notes, so things are not in the order that they should be. Mm-hmm. Anywho, so either way, keep an eye on your leave, take a vacation, even if it's just a staycation. Just not going to work for a week is real nice, especially because of like we work for the state, so when you take state leave, you are paid when you don't go to work. So like me and Jennifer took that vacation to Vegas, and we were getting paid the entire time we were there.
Yeah. I mean, which is really nice.
Well, Kirk in the chat room says it all balances in the end as long as you get your 40 hours or whatever. First,
36.
Yeah, yours is only 36, but also on top of that, though, it's not literally just if it all balances out in the end, like, because we have a specific department in the state of Alaska that reviews every single person's timesheet and payroll, and they will straight up file things just if there is something being conducted that isn't supposed to be. Like, if you're not taking lunches, like, you will get in trouble. If you are not, like, there are some rules that the state has that you have to abide by, and if those aren't being followed and it's indicative on your timesheet, then they will follow through on what needs to be done to make sure that you are being treated properly.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So, while, yeah, it all balances out in the end, that's not always necessarily good enough for the state.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, I definitely know people that would just never take a lunch and only work, like from like 8 to 3:30 or whatever. But
yeah, I would if I could do 410s, I would probably ditch this fucking schedule and start working 410s.
have you considered asking them, like, can you do?
I've already asked them about 410s.
Well, no. Do you have alternate work weeks through the court system?
Like, what do you mean?
It's not 410s, but it is 5 8.5s, 3. It is 8 8.5s, and 1 7 is essentially how it comes out. You don't get a 3-day weekend every week. You get a 3-day weekend every other week.
I mean, that's kind of how that goes anyways. because on Fridays we work the half days.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of not really a 3-day weekend, but it almost feels like it really because you're only there for 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, but it'd still be something that you could consider looking into. I mean, we have 2 people in our office that do alternate work weeks. So they work 8.5-hour days, 5 days at 1 week, 3 days the next week, and then because that adds up to too much, they have a 7-hour day, and then the remaining day in the 2 weeks they just have off, so they get a 3-day weekend every other week.
Huh. It's interesting.
Jennifer says she doesn't think the courthouse has the alternate work week option, and it might not be they might not just not have that option anymore because of the Friday thing, like Jennifer points out, and also probably just because they don't have enough people anymore as well. Like it's rough on our office that 2 people still do alternate work weeks because we only have 5 people, so out of the 10 and a half that my specific building is supposed to have.
And I know we're short people, but I know we're supposed to be getting more people, but I don't know when we're getting more people.
With the state, you're always supposed to be getting more people, but there's no money to pay them, so.
Yeah.
Anywho.
10.
Disney will pull its movies from Netflix and start its own streaming services.
This was submitted by Klein Drive to our movies.
The article's headline is pretty self-explanatory, but if you need a timeline, Disney wants a bigger piece of their own streaming pie, so if you are annoyed with how many people want your streaming money, well, there's about to be another one. Disney is going to be launching its own sometime in early 2019. All Disney current products, including Disney movies and Pixar movies, will be pulled from Netflix at the end of 2018. Marvel shows will remain on Netflix.
That's cool. That's cool, though.
So just Disney and Pixar films will no longer be on there.
For now. I mean, eventually I feel like they'd probably strike Marvel out of Netflix and put it on their own network eventually.
Yeah, I imagine it's... Well, maybe it depends, because the Marvel shows are produced on Netflix's dime.
Not all of them.
No?
No. I'm pretty sure... The Shield is not. Agents of Shield is not, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think the new Cloak and Dagger is not either.
But isn't like Flash produced by Netflix?
Flash is DC.
Sure.
You're looking at the big 4: Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, and then technically Defenders.
I was like, and Defenders.
And yes, all of those are.
Okay.
However, Agents of Shield is not. In addition to, I think, Cloak and Dagger, which is, I'm pretty sure, Freeform.
What the hell is Cloak and Dagger?
It's a, well, I mean, it's a comic book, but it's a, I believe it's a buddy cop thing. I'm not sure. I haven't read, like, any Cloak and Dagger. I just know that they're making a Cloak and Dagger TV show.
Jennifer asked, didn't the Disney Channel used to be extra on cable anyway? It didn't used to be extra in the form of, like, HBO as extra. Like, the majority of all cable packages came with Disney. It wasn't an add-on like Stars or HBO. And thank you, Kirk, for saying when I said Flash that it's close enough. Superhero stuff. Is the Flash on Netflix? Is that what that's on?
I'm not sure. I try not to pay attention to a lot of DC. I know Gotham's on Netflix, and that pisses me off because Gotham is probably the worst adaptation I've ever witnessed.
No. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of streaming services and recent events...
4.
I completely missed the button twice.
9.
HBO hackers leak Game of Thrones stars' phone numbers.
This was submitted by Bob Cobble to our television.
So this is actually more than just their phone numbers. So if you didn't know, a group has hacked and gotten over 1 terabyte of data from HBO's systems. 1.5 terabytes is the estimation. With that, they have gotten a couple episodes of Game of Thrones, an episode of Ballers, an episode of something else. The entire script for this season's Game of Thrones episodes, and a ton of emails and other stuff, but also apparently in that were the email addresses, home addresses, and phone numbers to Peter Dinklage, Lena Headey, Emilia Clarke, and several other Game of Thrones actors, which have now been leaked because the HBO is not meeting the demands of the hackers.
Yeah, those hackers are kind of dickbags.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I hope they get caught. It's not often that I'll say I hope a hacker gets caught, honestly. But this is one of those things where I'm like, I can understand pirating the newest episode, but doing it early is just kind of fucked up in my opinion.
Well, and there's more to it than that. I mean, HBO is outwardly not concerned about it, but they should be, because we already know that there's been a month worth of emails released, which is of Leslie Cohen, who is the HBO vice president for film programming. And in 2014, hackers hit Sony Pictures and released like a year and a half worth of their email, and it completely destroyed their public image because of the things that people talk about in emails.
Yeah.
And so that could happen with HBO as well, although currently, reportedly, the hackers' demands have not been published, although the current rumor is going around that they are asking for $6 million.
Yeah, fuck that. That's more than half of an episode.
Well, they are also saying that HBO spends like $12 million on marketing packages and $5 million on Game of Thrones marketing specifically, so that HBO should just consider the hackers another expense.
They can go fuck themselves.
Well, and like the biggest problem with hackers and things like that is that it's digital, and so like if someone kidnaps a person and says, "Give me $1 million if you want your daughter back," well, if you give them $1 million and you get your daughter back, it's done. But with digital stuff, you can be like, "Give us $6 million, or we're going to release everything." Well, if you give them $6 million and they give you all these files back, there's nothing to say. There's no way to prove they don't have copies of it.
Yeah, they can just as easily just rip a copy onto a DVD and slip it somewhere.
Yeah, and so that's one of the biggest problems with digital ransom, is that can't do, like, there's no guarantee from anyone's side.
Yeah.
So with that being,
and I mean, it's not like you can very well guarantee it either.
No, you can't. Even if you were like genuine, like, no, I will guarantee you that this is the only copy. There's still no way to really prove that, because especially like, how was it transported? Where was it sent? Did you have it on a computer? If it was if you had it on multiple hard drives and you don't give every hard drive that it's on, those files can be recreated on that hard drive. Because even if you delete something from a hard drive, there is technology to reconstruct it.
Yeah, it's not permanently deleted.
Yeah. So it's a difficult stance, and I'm not sure how HBO is going to approach it, but there is now a concern that people's private information is being released.
Yeah, that's the fucked up part, is they're releasing all of these people's information.
Yeah, especially because like Peter D.
I mean, it's not like they aren't being hounded by paparazzi constantly anyways.
Well, and also like there are some crazy fans for any people. Like there are some that just like, they may be good intention, but they definitely cross the line of what's okay, and giving people their personal addresses is not okay.
Yeah, definitely not okay.
So I wish you luck, HBO, because while I am appreciative and thankful for some of the things that get leaked because of the information that is pertinent to the public's knowledge, this does not fit that criteria.
Yeah. No, this is not something that should be public, in my opinion.
No. So, with that said, good luck, HBO, and we will continue forward.
8.
North Korea has produced a miniaturized and missile-ready nuclear warhead, says U.S. analysts.
This was submitted by Saucy Tryhard to Our World News.
So, this is the concern. The point where tensions really begin to bubble and rise, because North Korea has had nuclear capabilities for a while now, but they were always too large to do anything with. They weren't easy to deliver. But both U.S. analysts and claims coming out of North Korea itself say that they have now developed nuclear warheads that are small enough to be loaded onto long-range missiles, which means that they could actually nuke someone instead of just having the materials to do it. And in response to this, President of the United States, Donald Trump, has come out and basically said, "Try it, bitch."
We will set you on fire.
Kind of, yeah. He's like, you will be met
He's
with...
like, yo, dog, you watched the last episode of Game of Thrones?
Which, I don't know if that's necessarily the right direction to take with that. Like, fire with fire means that everyone will lose.
Everyone responds negatively to threats.
Yeah, and I mean, like, North Korea keeps threatening us, but us responding with threats is not going to help the situation.
Everyone wants to be the bigger man, and if you keep butting heads like this...
Yeah. Kirk says he has faith in THAAD, which is the missile defense system, right? Which, I mean, reportedly North Korea only has somewhere around 60 nuclear warheads, and so undoubtedly THAAD would be able to defend against that. But the problem isn't just protecting from the initial explosion, but if nuclear explosions go off, there are lasting effects no matter where they go off.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, it's like even if they go off in the water, all of that nuclear radiation and everything is going to be seeping into the currents.
Yeah,
it's just like what happened at Fukushima.
Yeah, it's all bad. Like, no matter what, if one is launched and it gets detonated anywhere, like radiation gets carried on the wind by the water, yeah, all bad.
Yeah. Not a single thing good about it.
No. But right now, tensions are higher than they have ever been between the United States and North Korea. So it'll be kind of a waiting game to see what happens in terms of what happens next. Because right now, we're poking each other with a stick, and one's a bear and one's an angry wombat. But that doesn't mean that the wombat doesn't have teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So... particular concern because we are one of the closest targets. Yay, Alaska!
And then I could finally end my suffering.
Or prolong it.
I mean, at least I'll be actually suffering.
Oh, would that make it better? That makes it okay?
Yeah.
If you say so.
7,
Italy's Sara Errani suspended for just 2 months after blaming mom's tortellini for failed drug tests.
Yo, mom's tortellini was lit. This is submitted by Nacho BHS to R, not the onion.
Well, that's kind of what she's...
to R, not the tortellini.
That's kind of what she's saying. So she did a out-of-competition sample at her parents' house in Italy back in February, and she tested positive for a chemical called letrozole, which is a substance used for the treatment of breast cancer, but has also been associated with the promotion of muscle tissue in female bodybuilders, which is why it's not allowed. Now, the problem with that is that her mother has been taking letrozole for a very long time. And her mother is old and careless, and apparently she's only supposed to take one at a time, will sometimes accidentally push out 2, and the pills are always stored right next to where she cooks.
Oh.
So the athlete is claiming that a pill could have possibly fallen into the broth or what have you, and it got into her system that way. And they were like, well, that's plausible enough, especially because since then she hasn't tested positive for it.
Oh, see, I was going to say, that's kind of sketchy, but since then she hasn't tested positive, so I'd say, let her off.
The more frustrating thing on her end, though, is that she is being told that her ranking points and prize money that she has earned between when she had that positive test on February 16th and her most recent test, which was on June 7th, which there was nothing in that test, those ranking points and prize money are going to be removed from her.
That's shitty.
Well, and yeah, that's kind of how she feels about it too, because in that time she has played in 10 tournaments.
That's a lot of wasted time.
That's kind of how she feels about it too.
Yeah, I'd be super pissed.
I mean, and also in that time she had a successful run for the French Open, which is also going to be pulled from her.
Oh God, I feel so bad for this lady now.
I mean, if it is true that that's what caused it, like, sure, but at the same time,
Yeah. No, I hope she can recover from this.
Yes, Kirk, it is a tennis player, to answer your question. So, either way, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, no, easily. One of the shittiest things to happen to a person that their livelihood is based off of them doing, tennis.
Yeah, but if they're a good enough tennis player, I'm sure they'll make it up quickly.
Oh, they'll bounce back, but that doesn't mean that...
It doesn't suck.
Yeah, no, it sucks balls because all of that money is gone, but B, you've slightly been tarnished with the fact that, yes, you've had steroids in your system at one point. People aren't just... Even though you're acquitted of things, people don't outright just be like, oh, yeah, you're acquitted, whatever. They're still charged or whatever.
Yeah, I understand.
6,
In a major medical breakthrough, a penny-sized nanochip pad is able to regrow organs and heal injuries by causing stem cells of any desired type to grow.
This is submitted by Alpha69 to Our World News.
This is really cool if it works. We have not tested on people yet, although apparently lab testing on humans is set to begin next year. What they do is it's non-invasive. They take this little chip and they set it on your arm, your leg, just somewhere on your skin, because we have found that skin is extremely persuadable is the best word I'm going to come up with right now. And basically what it is they charge it up with a little bit of electricity and a little bit of it with like essentially an electric code that shocks your skin to the point that it'll go, oh, I am no longer a skin cell. I am now a stem cell for a liver. And it'll float over to the liver and start regrowing the liver.
That's really weird.
It's non-invasive. You don't even, because it is your own cells and everything, you don't need the what are they called? The not autoimmune, the thing to prevent the immunization. What are those called?
I don't know.
Immunosuppressants. That's what they're called.
Oh, okay.
Because it is your own immune system. So basically what it is they just set it on your skin, shock you. Literally takes 1 second is how long this procedure takes. And then it goes, okay, I'm going to go work on fixing the liver now, or the heart, or anything else. And they believe they can even use it to help reverse and prevent effects like Alzheimer's and things along the same line with brain defects, because they can shock the skin to say, hey, make brain cells, and then they pull the brain stem cells out, inject it to your brain, and your brain says, I have more stuff to fix myself now.
That's fucking sick. It's just repurposing things that you have shitloads of.
Yeah.
Oh man, soon we'll be able to just regenerate like sharks.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot.
Kirk says
Started
this is
loving
Nazi
sharks
scientist stuff. Speaking of Nazi scientist stuff, did you see that there's a company trying to take back the swastika?
Yeah, they tried. They put it on T-shirts that said "love" and had the rainbow behind it.
Yeah.
And then there was such negative backlash that they decided to repurpose all of those shirts, and instead, they put a giant red circle through it with the line.
But then they got additional backlash on that to the point that they pulled the entire line and said, "We're sorry that you don't understand the message." Is essentially what they said.
Yeah. Which is kind of shitty, but I mean, at least that it's pulled.
I guess, I don't know. Like, I understand that the swastika used to mean all kinds of, like, you know, peace and infinity and all this stuff. It doesn't anymore, and it never will.
Same with Pepe. I fucking hate how they took it from, like, a shitty, funny meme and made it a goddamn
political
white
comic
thing. Yeah. Oh, shit.
The company's name was called KA. I have no idea where they're based, Kirk. Either way, awesome breakthrough in technology. If I don't, it's not quite Nazi scientist stuff. It's just modern science stuff, and the swastika will forever be a negative thing. So note that moving forward. Thank you. Goodbye.
5.
Atheists in Malaysia should be hunted down, says their prime minister.
This was submitted by This was submitted by Top Kek Lampa to Our World News.
So coming out of Kuala Lumpur, atheists in Malaysia should be hunted down by authorities as there is no place for them under the federal constitution, says a minister. So they are they're not intending, they're trying to push to get any atheist groups in Malaysia rounded up and just brought down, essentially. But they are
like
giving
murdered, or
maybe they haven't specifically said that. They said that they believe that the majority of these atheists are brought out from an what was their words? Lack of religious education. So I mean, possibly there's like a rehabilitation program that they might be looking to, of like, we'll bring you into the light, my child, or they'll just round them up and throw them in camps. And
yeah, Malaysia, you need to really cool it.
Yeah, right. Like, so what year is it?
Oh God, we need Derek Zoolander to kill the Malaysian Prime Minister.
It's
relax, don't do it when you want to go to it. Relax, don't do it.
Like, I'm still just waiting for like the rest of the world to catch up a little bit in terms of like accepting some level of diversity. Yeah,
no, I can only hope everybody will eventually be a first world country.
We can hope.
Yeah.
4,
Government report finds drastic impact of climate change on the United States.
This was submitted by Vicar Zero to our politics.
So this report is basically to go alongside a large number of the other scientific reports that have come out about the damages of climate change and global warming, is specifically to try to persuade those in the United States, because it is denoting the damage that is being done to the United States because of these things like climate change and global warming, specifically looking at Alaska and the Arctic. And because we are where the ozone is the thinnest, it is heating up here quicker compared to the rest of the world. So while they're trying to keep the rest of the world below 2 degrees centigrade at increase, we are actually, in terms of the average temperature here in Alaska, and as well as the rest of the Arctic Circle, warming up at twice the rate of the rest of the world. So if they manage to stop the warming process at 2 degrees centigrade, it'll have warmed up here 4 degrees centigrade.
Okay. Also, Kirk asked that, or he said, I'm guessing the predominant religions are Christianity and Islam. Many Malaysian Chinese practice various faiths, including Mahayana and other sects of Buddhism, the Chinese folk religions Confucianism and Taoism. Although Buddhism was influential prior to the arrival of Islam, the majority of the current Chinese population arrived during British rule of Malaya.
Yeah, and they don't even denote a specific religion in here, only saying, in a quote, the federal constitution does not mention atheists, therefore it goes against the constitution and human rights.
So it's 61.3, as of 2010, 61.3% Islam, 19.8% Buddhism, 9.2 Christianity, 6.3 Hinduism, 1.3 Confucianism, Taoism, and other traditional religions, 0.07 atheism, and then 1.4 is other or no information.
Yeah, you know that 0.07 is just, the thing that's undermining society.
Yep, definitely that 0.07.
And the global warming is going to undermine Alaska.
Yeah, I mean,
So the report currently is to whatever definition sitting on the president's desk waiting to be approved. Whether he approves it or not is yet to be seen. The current belief is that he will not, because him and a very large number of the cabinet members do not agree with the concept of climate change, global warming, or humanity's effect or / cause in the matter. Kirk's all, we could get real trees up here, though. Yeah, I guess we could, but there's also going to be negative things, too. Like, the question then is presented of what would we lose, because I mean, something will definitely be being lost.
I mean, it doesn't help that. Never mind. I was gonna say, like, all of our politicians on this climate change thing who aren't, for it, literally are shoving their heads up their ass. It just doesn't help.
Yeah, it's not even like I don't believe it. It's just like no, it's
not.
No,
it's like blah, 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 blah.
It doesn't exist. Doesn't happen. It's not real.
Fucking stupid.
But what about this? No, that's nothing.
That is definitely not several hundreds of dollars lining my pockets.
Yeah, right.
3,
Google fires employee behind controversial diversity memo.
This is submitted by OP2 to our news.
This is an interesting one, and apparently this has been a thing that's been going around for a while, but I haven't heard about it. So a gentleman by the name of James DeMore,
I heard about it yesterday, by the way.
Oh, okay. He's a Google engineer who wrote a note, and basically what this note was is it was a long memo that went out to a good number of Google employees regarding Google's stance on diversity. Now, Google is a very diverse company. They're, open to, all races and religions and all that kind of stuff. But basically what he was saying is that you are creating a level of diversity by trying to be open to diversity, because he says that Google should be looking more towards an ideological diversity rather than just trying to fill empty positions with, black or white or Hispanic or Asian people. It's like, yeah, it's good to have a good mixture of people, but the fact of the matter is that you are intentionally choosing some people over others specifically because they are not white. In addition to that, he also wanted to talk about the differences in gender roles and why he believes anyway, and uses a specific science report from 4 scientists regarding the differences inherently biologically between men and women, and how because of societal pressure for status, men are always pushed to have a higher status in the workplace, which is why they are more often seen in those higher positions compared to women, which are more often able to be satisfied with a lower position for the sake of being able to maintain family and things along those lines. Now, he had a very large amount of support and a very large amount of opposition in regards to this email. And to the point that specifically because of the gender statement, he was fired from Google. Now, there is a legal case being brought up for him. There is a fund that money is being put into for him to build a legal case. But on top of that, following up, the owner of WikiLeaks, Mr. Julian Assange, has offered him a job.
Huh.
Yeah.
Julian Assange half the time I'm just like, oh yeah, it's great, let's do this, he's doing great. The other half the time I'm like, wow, he's kind of a shitbag.
Well, and on some fronts I do understand, you shouldn't hire diversity for the sake of diversity. Hire the people who are qualified, hire the people. Is there a link to read this guy's manifesto? I'll see if this article provides one. I'm sure that there is one somewhere. If not, I can just Google it and probably find a PDF of the memo. But either way, so I understand not want to try to encourage people to not hire diversity for the sake of diversity. But really, I really think that you should just go with whoever is the most qualified candidate, whoever will do the job the best, whoever fits your needs the best. Whatever they happen to be, it doesn't matter. Whether they're male or female, black, Asian, Hispanic, African, whatever, it doesn't even matter. Because on a business side of things, you should just go for whatever it is you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I'm trying to form words in my head, and it's hard. I'm really just dead.
Sure.
I agree. We need to be hiring people based off of their skill.
Mm-hmm.
But we also need to give people who wouldn't normally have the opportunity to learn these skills to learn these skills.
I have found a link to the document, and I am dropping it in the Facebook chat, and I will also drop a link to it in the show notes, which will be posted into the podcast description as well as the YouTube links. Anywho.
Cool. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a difficult slope because, where do you go from there? What do you do? Because, do you just do what is politically correct, or do you do the things that'll benefit you the most?
I would do the things that benefit me the most, and then when people are like, hey, why the fuck is this not politically correct, I can sit there and explain it. I can sit there and show them, papers and test scores or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. People are shitty.
It's true.
I fucking hate everything.
It's true. So, I mean, either way, no matter what Google did, they were going to get backlash for it. I mean, they fired him under their own pretenses of his actions break code of conduct. And, some people are like, you fired him, that's censorship, he had freedom of speech. It's actually under the company's rules, you are not allowed to make gender stereotypes because it is against our code of conduct.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the other thing is while yes, to some level and extent, those things are freedom of speech, you cannot expect to just get no pushback from anybody when you send something like that out.
Yeah, there's going to be pushback. No matter what you send out, there's probably going to be pushback, really.
Yeah.
Just the degree of pushback is what you're putting in your fucking memos.
Well, and even if, I don't know how Google works in terms of hiring, but a very large amount of employers are at-will employers, which means that they can fire you at any time for any reason, or not even give you a reason, and in return you can quit at any time for any reason without giving any reason, right? Mm-hmm. And so if that's how Google works, I mean, they're a corporation, they're a business. even if it's like, yeah, we respect your freedom of speech, but we don't want to be associated with what you are talking about. That happens all the time. Like, they're like, that's cool and all, you do you, just not with us. So,
yeah, not around here, guys.
I mean, yeah. Google can do whatever they want, realistically, whether it's legal or not. Like,
I mean, he's sending it out to everyone. It can, I don't know. I was gonna say it can even be a form of harassment if you think about it. But at the same time, I don't know if I can stretch it that far.
well, and also, like, from his point of view, what drives you to just, like, send this email out to all of your coworkers?
You had to have seen something that you felt was not right.
Well, and if there was something that's not right, I don't feel like sending out a mass email is the proper way to do it. Like, there are, I guarantee you 100% in Google, there are avenues and channels you can go through if things like this are a concern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. No, I think I'm overall okay with this guy getting fired.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he can say whatever he wants. It's no big deal, but also don't presume that you can just sit there and everything be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean, because it's not. You said some fucked up shit, honestly.
yeah.
2,
Even if you had good intentions. Teen birth rate spiked in Texas after funding for family planning services was reduced by 67% in 2011.
This is submitted by Shiruken to R Science.
Again, you know those articles where the headline says it all, but they just wrote like paragraphs upon paragraphs reiterating what the headline says?
Yep.
Anywho, in 2011, Texas's family planning budget shrunk by 67% from $111 million down to $37.9 million. In the years since then, teen pregnancies have spiked by 67%, leading to a very large number of people traveling in order to either find the proper avenues for birth control or to get abortions.
Some of those abortions are done illegally and with coat hangers because they don't have the greatest Planned Parenthood in Texas. Isn't that right?
Well, it's not just Planned Parenthood. I mean,
people, any funding really for abortions, I feel like I don't feel like I'm pretty sure Texas just doesn't really do.
Yeah, that is correct. They do not.
This is why Texas is like the leading fucking maternal death in first world countries.
It is. They have a lot of other problems because of their views. I don't know how I would describe it.
Their wrong opinions. I don't know. This is just stupid. Like, you're defunding these things so you have more money for other places, but at the same time you're going to have the problem of teen pregnancies, of teen mothers dying in childbirth,
No.
or of teen mothers dying doing awkward abortions.
No, Kirk, I do not believe these fine people hand out contraceptives and the like. In fact, I mean, places like Texas are where the sexual education is abstinence teaching, which is just always
not gonna work.
It's always wrong. Like, don't teach them not to do it. Teach them to do it responsibly. Like, it's gonna happen, especially when it comes to intercourse. Like, it is one of the most like basic instincts for humans, for any animal, is carry on the species. Like, and they're not gonna not. Especially because, teenagers are young, dumb, and have raging hormones. I know, I was one.
I'm going to say this for all of the teenagers that might be listening right now, all right? Especially if you're in Texas. Fucking buy condoms. Because the pull-out method, although if used correctly, has a 96% effective rating, you have to do it correctly.
Well, and on top of that, like...
And it's a fucking hard thing.
Well, and it's not just that, though. Like, if you don't want children, take the measures to not have them. And that's not don't do it, because, like, let's face it, we're humans. That's...
You can have plenty of sex without having babies.
Kirk says, wear a condom. It's sanitary. It's more sanitary than not wearing one.
Yeah, no, easily. So... Pull-out method has a 96%, method of, or 96% success chance. But if you do it correctly, but you know what? It doesn't have the protections it gives you against STDs and other like things.
Jennifer confirms that Texas does still do shock and awe, which is the sex education where they show a slideshow of terrible diseases of like, look what could happen to you if you put your stuff in things or let people put their stuff in you.
Also, don't wear 2 condoms at the same time.
No, that's actually a very bad idea. They're not meant to be used that way, and that can lead to tears, which can lead to babies. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Texas, you're dumb.
Yeah.
That's all I have. That's all I got.
And I'm sorry for the people who live in Texas, honestly.
Oh, yeah, me too. It's hot there.
It's fucking close.
1.
Twitter suspends army of fake accounts after Trump thanks propaganda bot for supporting him.
This was submitted by Magnum to Our World News.
You need to make this show that Jennifer just supported, Naked Time Tips by Bimmy. Like, just put out like a weekly blog or something.
Mm-hmm.
Naked Time Tips by Bimmy.
I don't have enough experience with women to do that.
Aw. Anywho, so we talked about it yesterday when Donald Trump thanked what turned out to be a Twitter bot called @ProTrump45. The Twitter bot only was sending out positive propaganda for Donald Trump. He thanked it on his private Twitter page. The Twitter page ProTrump45, that's about accurate too, linked to a website that was full of pro-Trump propaganda, and they found that there was tons of people interacting on there with positive pro-Trump comments, all of which also turned out to be bots. So Twitter just got rid of all of them.
Huh.
They got rid of that specific bot that Trump thanked and anything that it interacted with that was also very clearly a bot.
That's awesome.
At the same time, yes, it is good that they're like trying to shut down ProTrump45 his fake news. Good job, Kirk. At the same time, it's very targeted to the point that, Twitter, I guess, can technically have whatever stance they want. But I could also see how the Republican side or just the pro-Trump agenda would essentially, speak out about this, about how, Trump is being censored on Twitter.
No, they're stopping people from, using bots. It's part of their terms and services.
Sure.
What they should do is also show that they're doing this for other people that aren't Trump, even Democratic people.
Well, I know that Twitter clears out a decent number of bots every day, but this is one of the times that it is being reported on that they are getting rid of a specific targeted section of bots.
Mm-hmm. But, I feel like, yes, that people are going to be like, oh, they're targeting. But it's like finding a gold mine. You found an assload, a metric assload of bots. And of course you're going to delete them if they're against your terms and services.
Oh, sure. It was just more of a word of caution to Twitter. And Kirk makes a good point in this chat room. Twitter can censor as they deem necessary. It's their company. They just get to deal with the consequences. And that's why, even though Twitter won't hear this, I give them the word of caution. Mm-hmm. That didn't work. That worked. Except I spelled the word show wrong. Haha!
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
Nathan, what did you care about in the last 24 hours?
Did you know that Scrooge McDuck accidentally created manga?
Really?
Yeah.
How?
Okay, so I have this article up. It was 5 amazing things you didn't know Donald Duck... it was 5 amazing things invented by Donald Duck, right?
Okay.
So, accidentally invented manga. Carl Barks was the most prolific writer for Disney Donald Duck comics.
Okay.
And his greatest contribution was the influence of Scrooge McDuck on a Osamu Tezuka.
Which is?
Do you know who that is?
No.
His nickname is the father of manga or the grandfather of anime because he wrote Astro Boy.
Okay, sure.
He's also responsible for a few characters that aren't all over popular here, like Blackjack and Kimba the White Lion.
Okay.
But, Disney kind of stole Kimba as Simba, so whatever.
So, American cartoonists that created Donald Duck inspired Japanese cartoonists that created Astro Boy, which pushed manga.
In turn, so Tezuka's work basically invented manga after World War II, which in turn inspired the cartoon form anime. Tezuka himself says that he owes absolutely all of this to none other than Scrooge McDuck. Tezuka's entire artistic style, including such trademarks as the overly large cutesy eyes and small mouths, can still be seen today as a defining aspect of Japanese animation. His work became the basis of all manga ever, and Tezuka was confirmed that the basis of his work was Barks' Scrooge McDuck.
Interesting.
And you can see it in the eyes.
Oh, no. I understand and can see the connections. I just never made the connection.
In fact, there was Tezuka would oftentimes send Karl Barks postcards that thanking him for his inspiration, that had Scrooge McDuck being hugged by Astro Boy.
That's fun.
So it was all because of Scrooge McDuck.
Huh. Fun. The thing I cared about in the last 24 hours is, instead of something fun, is a genuine concern. And excuse me, I am actually genuinely concerned about North Korea. Like, it makes me uncomfortable, one, of how close we are, because I'm a selfish-ass human being that would like to survive. But two, like, I would really prefer for us to just not.
Yeah, if we can just pass, that would be great.
It makes me concerned, is the best word that I have, is that I am genuinely concerned as the days go by over what is going to happen in that entire event. Because as everything happens, especially with our current sitting president and the stomp feet baby that is their president, I just don't, as the months go by, things have just kept getting worse.
Yeah.
Which is not awesome.
No, it's definitely not.
So
no, I just, everything's going to shit. I'm kind of excited everyone's going to die soon.
Kirk asks, do I think de-escalation is possible? As just a flat statement, yes, I believe de-escalation is possible. Do I believe it is potential with the players on the field? I don't. I don't see that happening with Trump and Kim Jong-un. I just don't see it happening between those two parties.
Yeah, neither do I.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem feasible. Oh, who the fuck?
It's a nice thought on the surface, but they literally just keep on just throwing spiked balls at one another, saying, I hate you, no, I hate you, well, you're a big jerk, well, fuck you.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. I think this entire situation's dumb, especially North Korea. Yeah. How we're handling things is probably one of the worst ways, but at the same time, it's hard not to handle it that way. People react to negative things in a negative way. They don't react to it going, oh, hey, let's talk this through. They're like, oh, hey, you're saying you're going to bomb us? Well, fuck you, we'll bomb you too.
Yeah, but Jennifer says it's $2 playing dodgeball, and Kirk says he hopes that China's head of state can help. The problem is that the two players, which is America and North Korea, yeah, sure, I guess it's two people playing dodgeball, but the problem is that all of us are standing in between. They just want to hit each other, but they have their entire populations in the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's an awkward area, and I've always hated politics, and this show has not done anything to help me like it even more.
Nope, you just get a lot more involved with it, aren't you?
Yeah, I feel like a grumpy old man.
I'm sorry. Okay. Well, either way, that is it, everybody. It is time for us to...
Oh, shit. Hold on. Speaking of another thing that I like really quick, or that I cared about really quick today.
Okay.
Guess who I saw at the courthouse?
I have no idea. I could have guessed so many names. But...
I saw Andrew Leonard.
Okay.
And he was getting his marriage commissioner because he's getting married.
Sick!
Yeah. So congratulations.
Through that. That was interesting. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and I do agree with Jennifer. Jennifer says she'd be more concerned if she lived in South Korea. Yeah, I can understand the concern. At the same time, I'm concerned because we're here.
Yeah.
Either way, all right, everybody, that is it. We're going to get out of here. Once again, if you'd like to help support this show, please go to patreon.com/dailyinternet. If you can spare $1 a month, $5 a month, if you can give up one latte in 30 days, every 30 days, and send it our way, we would be immensely thankful. to you and the others that are already supporting us on Patreon. Otherwise, follow the show on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All of those are at iReaditcast. You can follow me at Schwan Michael and Nathan at Bimmenstein. Otherwise, if you got a story you want us to talk about, and it doesn't need to be a recent one, even if it's from 2 years ago, or you just want to, or you got words you need to tell us, send it to us in an email to our inbox, which is feedback.ireadit@gmail.com, or call and leave us a voicemail at 508-738-2278. Otherwise, everybody, that is your 329th dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
And please remember, everybody,
Don't get voted!
have a good day, everyone.